Taiwan's ministers of defense, foreign affairs, and cross-Strait affairs have survived a cabinet reshuffle. Premier Su Tseng-chang led his cabinet to resign en masse on Monday. This comes after the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's poor showing in local government elections in November. The new premier is Chen Jianren, a former vice president. Most of his picks also served in the previous cabinet. Among those changing positions are head of the National Security Bureau, Chen Mingtong. He's to be replaced by Deputy Foreign Minister Tsai Ming-yen. Those staying include the Defense Minister, Foreign Minister, and the Minister for the Mainland Affairs Council, which handles relations with China. The new cabinet is expected to be sworn in on Tuesday. Our reporter, Louise Watt, spoke to Taipei-based journalist Brian Hioe of New Blue magazine to find out more about this reshuffle.
The ministers for defense, foreign affairs, and handling relations with China have stayed on. What does this tell us about the reshuffle?
Yeah, that indicates continuity with regards to cross-Strait policy and foreign policy as a whole, while I think particularly the Tsai administration is keeping an eye on that. It was punished for its domestic failings in the results of November 2022 9-1 elections. And so I think that signals then that the Tsai administration is not perceiving this as a result of, for example, the public rejecting her cross-Strait policy, as perhaps China or the Pan Blue camp would like to frame it. And so regarding defense matters, such as cooperation with the U.S. and how to deal with threats from China, that will probably remain mostly the same.
And as far as some of the new positions go, or at least some of the new faces in new positions, is there anything that you think is particularly significant about that?
So the biggest surprise then is Chen Jianren, who's of course leading the new cabinet. He's not an insider to DPP, is a bit free of the party politics and so forth, but he is trusted by Tsai. And so this is also possibly a move by Tsai to consolidate her factional influence at a time in which she is entering perhaps her lame duck period.
There's more women in this cabinet, and the new premier has said it's important for him to get more women in the cabinet. What can we make of the makeup, the male-female ratio of the cabinet so far?
So what is interesting is that many of the female members of the previous cabinet are preserved. For example, Xiaobi Kim is still the representative of the U.S. That's a key position as part of the administration. Wang is still the Minister of Economic Affairs and so forth. But I do think that it still slants to the male side in terms of the representation. That's always the case in Chinese politics. Despite the many legislators are elected within the cabinet or top government positions, oftentimes that are appointed by the president premier, it's still overwhelmingly slants male.
That was Louise Watt speaking with Brian Hioe, a founding editor of New Blue magazine.